We good? Are we in?
Okay.
I do want to start this episode with a feat of strength,
Okay.
right? To really appeal to our women listeners and viewers, as well as, I'm not a judge, the males as well.
Yeah.
Anybody that
be like-
might get a sense of attraction
Towards Dylan Strehle.
or just general like admiration. It doesn't have to be,
Okay.
amorous in any way.
Yeah.
It could just be, I really think that you're a good person.
I want to
because-
be like Dylan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and who hasn't had that thought
It's
before?
true, it's true.
But like, I want to try to really solidify it with a feet of strength, right? To see this can of Coke Zero.
You brought a prop. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just drank a can of Coke
Yeah,
Zero. Yeah. Impenetrable, made of a metal. Can you believe that? Made of a metal,
Yeah.
but with a little bit of pressure. Doesn't even make a noise. I thought it was gonna make a sound, but that's just how strong I am.
Yeah, you
really,
can
when you
squeeze
get
it.
down
You could
you
could squeeze a can.
It's just that easy.
It's pretty
brother.
cool. It's
Yeah,
pretty
thank you,
cool.
Thank you. I mean, I hold your applause. I mean, I know that after I did that, yeah. Oh well, I mean, I wasn't talking about you, Josh. I can't impress you with anything. Period. Yeah. So I'm not even going to try with you. But I knew that our legions of listeners, they immediately just broke into a cheers of applause.
Yes.
Had to be the
Because
case.
who has ever in the history of mankind been able to crush a can of soda? And not any can, a mini can.
A mini can of Coke Zero with
Yes.
one hand, mind
With
you.
one hand.
With
That's
one
true.
I didn't even use my head to do it, which would have been more impressive.
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
when you
That's
think
what
about it.
we should have done that.
I actually.
Do you have another can?
TBH, I was not confident enough that I could do it with my head. I was like, I'm gonna try this and it's gonna break apart. Are you? Oh, we got a can of Red Bull over there.
Sugar free.
Okay, so that could be finale. Stay tuned. Freaking stay tuned in. Don't turn away.
To headbutt Dylan headbutting
A can.
a can of
Try to break
Red
a can.
Bull.
Yeah, I mean, the pay-per-view
It's
alone
off the charts.
It's gonna be the money we're gonna make off the sponsorships.
Yeah.
Freaking Mayweather is gonna come and promote this. I guarantee it, dude. I'm gonna use my connections for this.
Cage match of Dylan versus Red Bull.
Dylan versus Red Bull can. Honestly, the odds are pretty much not in my favor.
Nope, not at all.
I gotta say, if you were a betting person out there, bet against me in this one, brother.
Well, here's the big determining factor. What way are you crushing it? Right. So if you have your head, you have a Red Bull can.
Paint us a
Is it from
picture
the
for our
side?
audio
So,
listeners.
okay.
Yeah.
Are you gonna hold it hamburger or hot dog style?
Well, so I
From the
think
top
that-
is the
I think
crown of your head.
I think
going,
that the only impressive way to do it is to have it be long ways up against your head, right? So like you're using it as the
I
anchor
disagree.
for pressing
That
against
is
it.
no.
'Cause
I
here-
have
'cause
such a better way.
other
of doing
way
it.
is
I've
just
no.
pop.
We're just
flat.
not even in the same realm here, Dylan.
Yeah.
Okay. You have the Red Bull.
Mhm.
You set it down on a table.
Oh, forehead
Forehead to the opening in the top of the can. Smush it down like you stepped on it
with your forehead.
with your forehead. That is a feat of strength. That is something that will get the
True.
people going.
True. When you phrase it like that, I mean,
got
how
it.
could I not?
You got it.
How could I not?
Also, odds even worse in your favor. That one,
I think that there is a bigger chance of me missing the can and hitting my head against the surface than anything else.
That's
I
probably
think that's
true.
probably what it's gonna
yeah,
be.
that hand-eye, forehead-eye coordination
yeah,
isn't
not-
quite there.
Not really my strong suit, I gotta say. But man, can I crush a can with my right hand, dude? I can really do that like the best of them. Welcome to the Monomaniacs podcast. What? What are you laughing about? Josh, I find this very funny.
I don't know.
Was this like a pause moment? Did I say something I shouldn't have?
A little bit.
Well, he thought it was funny. You thought it was funny.
Just make
I'm cognitively trying to forget what I said so that I do not embarrass myself by
There you
having
go.
said it. Don't repeat it.
yeah. Repeat
Don't do it
Josh,
to me.
Josh, one time.
Don't do
just
that
for
to
the
me.
one time.
See that he knows who butters his bread.
Yeah, it's
brother.
true.
Yeah, who's in charge around here?
Who butters his bread butter? Is that what we?
I said brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Double
Yeah.
buttered bread.
Speaking of that, I got my freaking brother Silas on the podcast.
Take two.
Yeah, my other brother Shad. It's a little sick, boy. He's a little sick right
You
now.
guys just switched.
I
sides.
know. I mean, I felt like it was only proper and right that I would bring you on, during
Mhm.
Shad's time of distress, as he brought you on during mine.
I agree. I think actually what's happening here is you're seeing the viewership numbers.
Yeah.
They're going up, and you guys are having this struggle, this weird thing where you're like, oh no, for the betterment of the podcast,
One of us is going to have to go.
Yeah, the other
Right.
Strehle brother is actually the true and right heir to the podcast, I don't know, empire.
Yeah,
That is
Empire, I
Monomaniacs.
think, is a accurate
Yeah,
and
100%.
correct way
if
to
you've seen the
phrase it.
viewership numbers, I know you
Dude,
audience members can't
yeah.
really say, man.
I mean, you guys can see what's the public-facing numbers, right?
But there's,
you
like,
know,
those
but like
secret
those
ones.
back-end numbers, whoo,
yeah,
I
especially
mean,
when your boy is on the podcast.
yeah,
So
yeah,
basically,
just skyrocket.
there will be a family war very soon. I think cage match Dylan and Shad to see who can be my co-star on Monomaniacs going forward.
Okay, yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. Well, so, you know, you don't know this, but this really is an audition for me at the end of the day. Right?
Really?
Like, you know, because you're the sort of stalwart, solidified anchor of the show at
Yeah,
this point.
it's
So,
true.
you know, I have to come in here and impress you
Yep.
and the audience so
Yeah.
that they feel like, all right, actually, the best dynamic on the show is Dylan and Silas. Not
Yeah, so,
Shad and Silas.
If you want the job, let's go through a couple preliminary.
Oh, jeez, Louise. Okay.
As my
Hey,
assistant,
how's it
as,
going?
as my
a
assistant,
strong handshake.
you will be
start.
doing
Eye
a
contact.
lot of things, right?
Sorry,
as in,
I real fast, real quick, clarifying question.
Yeah.
Assistant,
Well-
not co-host.
it's an all-encompassing job. You know, it's like if you have.
I don't
like
know if that means what you think it means, or if that applies here.
Let's put it this way, right? If
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are.
Sorry
As
to
we have
question you,
both-
by the way. You're
yeah,
in charge.
I'm in charge here.
Yeah.
As we have both been
Mhm.
front-end assistants at Costco.
Okay, correct.
That within the compass of the job is helping boxing, helping cleaning,
Mhm.
and helping with carts.
Okay,
Sometimes
yeah.
you gotta go into the store and you gotta box stuff and you gotta move things around, you know?
Mhm.
As in, if you're my co-star, you have to sit here and you have to have a good vibe with me, and you also have to know my drink order and what I like for lunch.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
what is my drink order?
What is your drink order?
Mhm.
Okay, well, so first off, I want to say that you're actually making the case for me by
Oh.
sort of describing what a front end person does. I'm used to a wide range of responsibilities in any position.
Yeah,
Right. You know,
yeah.
and so, I'm about width, not depth. And so, I could perfectly adapt to whatever you want me to do. Josh thought that was very funny. Width versus depth.
I mean, I thought, never mind. That's another.
You guys, I don't know why. I'm just trying to put my best face forward.
Yep.
And you guys are out here making fun of me for what I'm doing. All right. I'm trying to land this job.
Yeah.
Could you not try to?
You're kind of falling apart here. You're
Dude,
kind of falling apart. Let's
Is
go.
it hot in here, you guys? Okay.
What's my drink?
Your drink order is definitely a Cosmo for you is what I imagine is your drink order. You got a Cosmo going. You got a little Cosmo action.
I don't know.
Extra juice in that Cosmo for sure.
I
As
don't know
little
if you're.
alcohol as
I don't know if
possible.
you're super correct or demeaning me, but I'm gonna go with super correct.
Hell yeah, brother.
So yeah, it'll be a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and a little bit of that. You know.
Mhm.
Let's see. What are your strengths?
What are my strengths?
Yeah.
Well, first off, have you ever seen a man crush a can with one
With
hand?
one hand.
With one hand?
Have you ever seen a dude headbutt a can?
Oh, I can't say that. I can't say that.
You know, that
aspect.
would be. That's kind of the talent we're looking for, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Well, cool. My other strength,
Uh-huh.
boyish charm. I am not intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not aggressive.
Okay.
Right? I will not try to pull the spotlight from you. Right? Spotlight's
enjoy
on
this.
you.
I enjoy this.
You are going to be sort of the masculine energy. I will be the beta male.
Okay.
And because of that,
I don't know. Can we shift? We don't like betas on this podcast. We're reframing.
okay, let's
Sigma
reframe.
grind
Yeah,
set.
Sigma, I'll be alpha. How about that? You're a Sigma,
Sounds
I'm an
good.
alpha.
I'm out of the system.
Yeah, there you
I don't
go.
even know there's a system.
Yeah, exactly. You are above it
Yeah.
in a way. So,
Mhm.
you are the more important person,
Mhm.
the person to be emphasized here.
Okay.
And so I can fade into the background, be nothing. I can
Okay.
be like a ghost, but still support you, still back you up, still make jokes that make you look better. How
I like
about that?
it. I like it a lot.
Mhm.
Follow up. Biggest weakness.
I try too hard.
Ah,
I'm too hard of a
you know
worker.
what?
That's what it is.
You're kind of selling me. I think there's nothing better than that.
All right, Shad. Freaking gauntlets down.
Yeah.
Brother. Are you gonna?
I still think cage match needs to be.
What in your mind does that even look like? Is that just Shad and I literally in a cage fighting?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe an octagon like UFC.
How clothed are we in this imaginary situation you've created?
Fantasy or
well, I mean,
imaginary. That's a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
We'll go UFC level, but you're not like boxers with the baggy ones. You got to be basically spandex.
Okay, so like the tight, kind of pants. You know, I think you're just self-reporting right now in front of everybody in regards to your opinion on such a thing. But whatever, that's fine.
All right, you've made like 3 jokes in the past 20 minutes that could be an easy self-report that you didn't even realize. That's the worst part.
Well, no, that's the thing. Is as long as I don't acknowledge that they're self-reports. Then I'm fine. If I just forget about them, then nobody will ask any questions. Goodness. You know what's going on with me right now is that I'm in a battle with mice in my home at the moment. Yeah, I had a mouse broke into what we thought was a singular mouse, a lone actor, a lone gunman, if you will.
Never like that.
Yeah, but turns out the grassy knoll also had somebody in it.
Yes.
And we've had a large working group, you know, that have been actively trying to fight against our home. And have broken into our spice cabinet and ate all our turmeric.
No.
All our turmeric's gone. And we thought, holy smokes, these mice can ingest raw turmeric and fight on. These guys are rough boys, right? These guys are tough guys.
Why did we make a JFK reference? You.
I was about to say, I was like, I was a lone gunman in that instance. Since we were not a unified actor.
Just JFK catching another stray. That's crazy.
You think one would be enough? Yeah. No, well, really what it comes down to is I do equate what these mice have done to my home to what the death of JFK did to the country.
Okay.
Really.
I was going to say, too, like, you are a prisoner in Guantanamo Bay, and the mice are enacting, you know,
extrajudicial torture on me?
And JFK is like, I don't like it. Wait, that I think it falls apart.
It's falling apart.
It's falling apart.
Let me phrase it like this. How about these
I got it.
These mice.
I got it.
Okay, hit it.
I got it.
We're trying to workshop the bit right now. Okay, let me know.
The turmeric is in Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
The mice come in. You know, kind of trying to get a little bit out of the turmeric. Maybe it goes a little bit far.
Yeah.
Dylan is JFK. He's going to go shut it down. Little do you know, Cage Match going to come up. Shad's going to kill him. They are the grassy. Shad is the grassy knoll.
Shad is the grassy knoll that is hiding.
His fists.
You know what, Silas?
Are the bullet.
You know what, Silas? I don't know if you actually
could.
I don't know if you could host a podcast. I think it's falling apart.
You're my assistant. I don't know what you're doing talking to me like this.
You're right. Good job, sir. Incredible bit you got going. You're crafting an incredible image. Anyway, I have two things to say about my battle with the mice. One is that I'm up to 5 mice on mouse traps. Yeah. Literally, it was like a 6-hour rotation where I put 2 traps in there. Every 6 hours, I would check them and get another mouse just over and over and over again. And these were big suckers, too. They were like, you know, this big. And their eyes were popping out of their head. But that was the mouse trap, really. That was what did that.
That was it. Maybe the turmeric.
You know what? It could have been like a cartoon where they ate something spicy and there was like, woo, yeah. And that was just constantly going on. In fact, I think I put them out of their misery more than anything. But also, it's insane to me how, and we don't think about this often. I feel like this is like going to be a Jerry Seinfeld bit, like observational humor. But you go into a store, into the pest control section, and there's just like big lettering that's like guaranteed to kill. Right. Like you don't often buy products that are like their primary focus is this will end a life. Yeah. Like, and if it doesn't, your money back. Yeah. Right. Even like firearms, they're not like one shot will be enough. It's not going to be on the side of the, you know, the advertising for the gun.
It's just for pests.
Yeah.
And and like bugs.
Yeah. Roaches. You know, that kind of thing. You know, efficiency in killing is very important when it comes to these products.
That's a weird thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's basically just mustard gas. Maybe like the military gets these ads sometimes.
It's true. Maybe like maybe the military industrial complex is out here being like, and don't worry, this will kill a man. I guarantee it. Yeah, like
this Black Hawk
Even if it goes down, someone's gonna die.
At least 20 people guaranteed or your money back.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if that is like they literally put a portfolio in front of them and it's like, this is our estimated casualty rate.
Yeah,
on this particular.
Do you think the military
machine.
industrial complex has like a price per death?
Has morals? No, I don't.
But like
no.
a price per death count, right? So it's like,
yeah.
hey, buying this, you're actually paying only $8 million per death. For this helicopter, and this one it'd be 18 million. So like, gosh,
I mean, obviously, I got to go to the thing.
18.
I can get the most killing deaths of civilians off of this one.
No, but it's actually they look at it and they're like, you know what? This one costs more. This one looks a little
exactly.
cooler.
This one actually is more expensive, so I'm going to write that check instead of the one that's more efficient.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. I really love the golden rim they put on this one. Let's. You're telling me each one of these bullets has been blessed by a Catholic priest and is made of pearl? Give me 50 million of those. Exactly. $7 a piece.
So how many more are there? Has this when was the last death? When was the last casualty?
Oh, I mean, it's been 12 hours. It's been 12 hours since the last death. And so at this point,
they're still out and about, man.
At this point, we're gonna leave those traps in there for a few days. We're gonna make sure that we got them good. And I got a great system going. I got pieces of that Bell like wheel cheese, like those beautiful wax cheeses. Piece of that, little peanut butter on that.
Yep.
Sucker. Put that in there. Boom. Toast.
I mean, I don't know why you're straying away from the turmeric. I mean, they obviously love it. They love it. Also,
we don't have any turmeric left.
I have a confession. to make real quick.
Yeah.
I've been bitten about turmeric. No clue what it is. Absolutely not a clue.
It's
Is it
spice
green?
that you put in curries. It's orange.
It's orange. Okay.
Yep. In fact, every spice container in our entire cabinet had a thin layer of orange turmeric over the top of it as they would eat it and then run around on top of all the spices, which is a great visual for when you're like ready to make
It's like
food.
a Ratatouille-esque
You
vibe.
know what?
Maybe he
This is
wants
the
to be a
problem. We actually have killed, both literally and figuratively, the spirit of a small chef.
Yeah.
That could have, tasted turmeric, could have had that thing where it's like the little fireworks that pop up, right?
And then he could have made what's his name? Linguini low-key force himself on a French woman, like in that one scene.
Yeah.
It's like, but it was the rat who did it, so it's not actually
Dave, it was the rat.
Let Linguini, chill, man.
Free Linguini, dude.
He didn't do anything wrong. It was the rat in his hat. That's what we've been trying to tell the courts.
I don't remember this scene. Does he do it on accident?
No,
or
he
is
does it
like
on purpose.
Actively, like
no, like they're fighting, and then Linguini's like, "I'm going to take off my hat and show you that this is why I'm crazy." And then in order to save his own skin, he's like, "You finna kiss her." Yeah.
The most charitable reading possible is that he did it out of pure desperation and didn't know what the outcome would be. He just went, "Poof, I'm going to pull it." But no, you think that like,
no, 100%.
He's like, "I'm finna make him kiss."
Yeah, Remy's a smart guy.
Do something that is worse than death itself. Kiss a French woman.
Kiss a French woman. Yeah, you're done for.
Yeah, you're toast. Yeah.
Do you think like imagine? I think a better Ratatouille would be like the bear Ratatouille, right? So it's like Remy is like just cussing out.
I don't think you could fit a
everybody.
bear under somebody's hat, though. I think that would be. That's
tough. Actually a raccoon in everything, everywhere, all at once. Yes, raccoon. Anyway, like Remy sitting there, but instead of being like Linguini, while he's pulling his hair, he's just going at the guy.
Oh yeah,
and he's just cussing him out and calling him cousin for some reason, and just doing that the whole time. And then they get shot up and stuff. And it's just the bear to a T, or just the bear, but it's a rat controlling the main chef the whole time.
Okay.
I think that's a better.
So just like literally beat for beat, just the same,
just
thing,
the bear,
except for
he has a funny hat on in a Chicago diner. He has a big hat on,
and it doesn't actually matter. But it turns out the whole time there was a rat underneath it.
Exactly.
Right?
Maybe like the last episode.
If you like watched a show and at the very end, like last episode, like we're talking like peak television. We're talking True Detective season 1. Let's say end of True Detective season 1. Matthew McConaughey like leans over and like his head opens up like a robot and inside is a little alien that's like Orion's belt, and then find me in Orion's belt. Would you like even if like everything was just perfect television up to that point, would it all be flushed away in that moment?
No, absolutely not. I mean, there's so many shows. No show can stick the landing. Like there's like maybe 8 shows all time that have ever stuck the landing to the point in which people are like gung ho.
Yeah, well, okay, but there's varying degrees of sticking the landing. There is,
but it's like
literally
Game of Thrones is still one of the best shows of all time. I've never seen it. Everyone agrees that it's one of the best shows of all time. The whole last season was unwatchable, and yet everyone is like, "This is still the GOAT."
I disagree because I think a lot of people, depending on how much they've invested their lives into liking Game of Thrones, some of them are like, I feel like the last 8 years of my life have been tainted by this season. Yeah. Well, and, if you listen to John Shachka, his sort of diagnosis is like literally just don't watch the last season. Just go back and watch season 1.
Which that can be an okay remedy. I mean, Death Note's the same thing, where it's like the first 2/3 of it is some of the best television ever, but then the ending is bad. And it's not unwatchable. It's not terrible, but just doesn't live up to the
I mean, and I think that I probably have talked about this on the podcast before, but like the incessant feeling of, I can't believe X show got canceled. I really want that show to come back is a terrible perspective.
Yeah.
Whatever show it is, even if they bring back the same exact people, it is not going to be as good. Period. Like I don't even think you could come up with an example of a show getting canceled and then coming back. I mean, maybe if you're like a Family Guy head, you'd be like, well, season 5 was actually the best one when they, after they came back after the cancellation. Josh actually would know this more than any of us. Where would you say that after Family Guy was canceled, like the second time it was canceled and came back, was the show better for it or worse for it?
I'm not sure which season exactly that happened in, but everything in the last 10 seasons is kind of unwatchable. So,
well, it's true. You could say that about.
I think the sweet spot is like after like maybe seasons 3 to 10 or something like that. It's like it's in the middle there that is really good.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like,
which coincidentally is all the stuff that I watched in college. So,
well, there you go.
That has nothing to do with it.
Futurama has been canceled and brought back twice at this point, and it gets worse each time it comes back. Right?
That's true.
Firefly, people are like, why did they cancel Firefly? Why couldn't we get a full last season of Firefly? It's been 10 years or so.
Yeah, like Freaks and Geeks and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like, we got to bring it back. It's not going to be as good.
No.
It's not the same.
I mean, there's also this whole thing, especially with like Star Wars in general. I think we're seeing it nowadays where it's like, it doesn't really matter whether or not they bring back the same thing or not. And all that matters is also you have grown exponentially. Like, I could go back and watch my favorite movies from 4 years ago and be like, this is a bunch of garbage. And it doesn't matter. Like, I don't think you would appease anyone. I think bringing stuff back, especially for cult classic fans, fanatics, all it's going to do is leave people annoyed.
Yeah, I mean, and speaking on the movie thing, I think I'll actively never watch Drive again because want it to be as good as it was when I watched it in high school.
Yeah.
Right? Like the feeling of, this is the best movie I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, I want that to still be there forever.
Yeah.
And it not to be tainted by me watching it again and realizing that it's not.
I
had that experience with Zoolander.
Well, I know that the sequel sucked and that you were really disappointed by that. But
but even the movie doesn't hold up as well as you wanted
thought
to.
it was.
I mean, the gasoline shower is still one of the best scenes ever.
Still, though.
Maybe.
Still the gasoline fight. A tragic gasoline accident.
I don't know. I think there's just like, I mean, this is basic and common, but there's just like an oversaturation of content to the point in which like half of our things are just, reruns and things like that. Once again, when it goes to the Star Wars thing, there's been multiple people that have noticed that, hey, you don't hate the remakes. You're just older now. This is the exact same story until like the last one, but it's like, this is the same story that happened before.
Well, not even just the same story, but really it was pretty much the same level of quality.
Yeah,
pretty
and
much.
Just like, teenagers like it now, and you, because you're 30 now, don't like it.
It's funny. There's like a whole school of people that are like, Star Wars was never actually good. Period.
Yeah.
Never was. I don't know if I fully agree with that. Shad probably fully agrees with it.
I think
but-
that's a dumb take, just because you like got to look in like a context way, where it's like there's like amazing films that are old, and you're like, oh, this doesn't hold up, and it's like, I mean, sure, the visual effects, like the lightsaber duels aren't as good, but like the best lightsaber duel is in freaking Phantom Menace, and that's not a good movie, you know?
Actually, no. This is a very unpopular opinion, but best lightsaber duel is in the Clone Wars when Yoda is fighting Count Dooku.
That's pretty lit. It's pretty lit.
JK, actually, that one sucks.
My girlfriend thinks the Clone Wars is the best Star Wars movie.
Exactly. When we were young, we would watch the Phantom Menace incessantly, like
Mhm.
over and over and over
Jar
again.
Jar Binks.
We had
and
no
be like, "Dude,
context.
that guy's funny as hell.
as hell, dude. Not at all racist.
Nope.
Not at all a stereotype. Just funny.
Just a good goof.
Exactly. Just a great goof.
I mean, that's the whole thing about like they do it generationally, and every single generation it sticks out to them. Everyone in my generation is like, yeah, New Hope and Empire Strikes Back are probably the best, but I enjoy
Revenge of the Sith.
I enjoy
yeah.
Revenge of the Sith the most, hands down.
That is a very, very common take at this point. Yeah. And so, I mean, it's one of those things where give it 20 years and people will be like, actually, the what was it? What are they called?
7, 8, 9.
The sequels. What
I
are they
guess.
called?
I don't know.
Are they called the sequels?
I think it's like the sequel trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah, the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
They'll be like the sequel trilogy is actually like hidden gas, and
Yeah.
everybody got it wrong, and it's perfect. Which people are still saying about the Last Jedi, which I do disagree with.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
But that being said, I mean, give it another 20 years, the next round of Star Wars films will come out. People will hate them, and then everybody that grew up watching the sequels will be like, actually, it was good when I was around.
Yeah,
right? It'll just
exactly.
happen over again. It's these cycles, and I think that people don't like to think about it like that because they prefer to believe that whatever space that they're in
Is the best.
was the best space,
Yeah.
right? And that they have the right opinions. Period.
Mhm.
It's really hard to divorce yourself entirely from your cultural time and make an analysis or look at a piece of art, completely sans that, right? Like objectively outside of it. And I mean, only that, I think that can only come from consuming content that's old to get a better perspective on its, place.
Yeah, the issue
And then
that
applying it to
the
your
issue that
place.
you find though, dude, is like I watched 2001: A Space Odyssey on a plane on a phone, which obviously is not,
Which is the best way to watch Dune, of
which is
course.
obviously how you're not supposed to watch exactly that movie. But like, I thought this is how you test an iPad kid.
Mhm.
Holy, we are going to every single scene is going to be 2 minutes. I do not care
Yeah.
if you are looking at the sky. You will sit here for 2 minutes and look at the sky.
Mhm.
And then it'll change. It'll be like, you see this spaceship moving very slowly, very, very, very slowly until it's out of frame. We're going to sit here and watch it. And it's just that over and over and over again. It's like, obviously, this is like, everyone says it's the best movie ever, yada, yada, yada.
Mhm.
It's like so good. But like, you can't tell me that you can like stick anyone within like, born in the past 10, 15, 16 years, probably even, and be like, this is the GOAT.
Mhm.
It's, I don't know. It just,
And
It
the
changes.
kid that is 16 years old who will say, "Actually, no, I do think it's the best film," is probably
Is a
somebody I
dick.
don't want to be
Yeah.
around. They're probably the worst.
you're just pretentious.
yeah, exactly.
You don't enjoy it. Let's be
Mhm.
honest here,
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
The ending confused you. It confused. I don't why is this big fetus looking at the earth now? I don't understand it, but that's what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it is funny how now that we're out of like our youths in a way, and we're no longer kids.
Yeah, same. Am I right?
Yeah, oh, fam. You start to like become annoyed with the kid that I was, which was like, I culturally have it figured out.
Mhm.
Right? I know it's good and I know it's bad.
Mhm.
You immediately that person I dislike, right? Which is funny because I think that Shad and I fall into that category more
Yes.
often than not,
100%.
even in our current age. But and maybe this is just a
Let's be honest. We all do, dude. Like,
yeah.
Whenever we're together as a family, we make assertions. And we're like, no, you guys are wrong because of this take. And it is the wrong pop culture take.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, well, you're not really the arbiter. And we're like, shut up. You are wrong.
Exactly. AGR sucks, Josh.
Jay.
AJR. sorry.
AJR.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
actually-
That's
a
how
rough
little
one.
I
Get it
care.
right.
It's how little I care about AGR, dude. AGR does suck, though. I will say.
J. Once
Yeah,
again,
it's a
you've
J in
hit
the middle
G
there.
like
See,
3
I have
times.
no respect for them. I
It's
have no
built from the
respect.
first letters of their names or
Have-
something.
How does copyright work? Can I play like 5 seconds of a song or no?
Are you gonna do Thirsty Thursday?
Yes, I'm gonna do
yeah,
Thirsty.
Yeah, yeah.
Do the
Have you
Thirst-
heard Thirsty?
Do it. I have, yeah.
Of course he has. He's listened to every one of their albums a billion times.
Untrue.
But how untrue?
This is unironic.
Not even a joke. He's
That's-
jamming over there.
It's insane.
He's jamming.
It's insane.
It's
Yeah.
catchy.
And then they just have a whole song where it's like, dude, The Office, man. Michael left and I cried, dude. Jim and Pam got together. I didn't even see it coming.
That song
it
is
blew
so
my
bad.
mind.
The song is so bad.
Oh goodness. Yeah. Netflix trip. Rough. Freaking thirsty.
Speaking of Dylan, Shad, and I,
Oh yeah, this is a piece of national news.
Yeah, this is.
We gotta share this.
we
We gotta share this with our freaking our patrons
Our
and all that
patrons.
jazz. Those that are interested, we have put together a playlist. It's a little over 7 hours long,
yeah, it's
on Spotify.
130 something songs.
called "The Worst Songs Ever,"
Mm-hmm.
and it is just what we could find based off of internet discourse, what other lists people have put together, stuff that and there's a veto system if two of us agree that it should not be on the list. and
Dylan
it's-
tried to put Creed on the
I
list.
tried to put with arms wide open.
Get
on
that
the-
out of there.
on the list. So that was taken off, understandably. I get it. I was wrong. I was incorrect in that instance. But we've put together this list. We're trying to figure out a drinking game for this list. Like, what would be a fun party where everybody gets together and they drink and listen to these songs?
So here's the issue, right? Is
Yeah.
you originally said every time you cringe. The two issues here. One, with the list that we've compiled,
there's no way
we
not
have a
to.
7-hour playlist. We will get through 20 minutes and then be done.
Yeah.
The other thing that I was thinking is like maybe skip every time that you skip, but you got to drink every 20 seconds, and that just is not realistic.
Well, so I actually went through the other night and I tried to listen to the playlist.
Yeah.
I tried to do it. I went through and I listened to
I
as
think there's-
much of every song as I could before I moved on to the next song. And I will say there's like 5 or 6 songs where you're like, I could force myself through this.
There's more than that. Here's
Yeah.
what I'll say. There's songs that are like traditionally and like known as bad songs,
Mhm.
but like they're either such big hits from when I was a kid that's like, oh, I know this is a not bad song and it's a song that I can just like
Like Josh
Sit
with
there.
Thursday, right?
Sure.
On AGR's Thursday.
Jay, but yes, no, like even like Ice Ice Baby, right? It's like
Yeah.
everyone knows it's one of the worst songs of all time. I'm not like I don't have to skip it.
No.
I
It's
can
still,
sit through it.
and it's still a banger, right? The trick is distilling the list down to, and this is what we've done, unfortunately, down to songs that are not just objectively bad, but when you listen to them, you feel physical pain.
Yeah, there's a lot in here that are. I think Peach Scone by Hobo Johnson might be the worst one, but
I don't think so, but yeah, that's a good.
I'm trying
pick.
to. There's got to be a couple on here where I'm like, no, but like at one point in my life, I listened to this song and it was like,
See,
whatever.
I took
like
all-
Trumpets by Jason Derulo, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Terrible song,
Banger.
terrible song. Okay, well, Josh, we don't. That's why you're in the other room.
And the trumpets go.
This is
And
why I was not involved in the
Creation of the
veto
list,
yeah.
power on this list.
And the trumpets go.
Yeah, it's terrible objectively, but when I was 12
Yeah.
and going to my friend's house and it popped on the radio, I was okay with it,
Mhm.
and like that has just been ingrained in me. So there's a lot of that I can find.
I took
7
off.
Years by Lucas Graham. Really?
That is there actually
Yeah,
on this.
yeah,
song.
it is.
Yeah, it is there.
I was
Have you?
Fun
Are you
fact,
looking
I
at
was
the list
into
right
that.
now?
Yeah, I just pulled up Shad's Spotify.
Yeah.
I've
I
got
was
it right
into that song at one point. I
Oh,
think I was
yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know.
7 years old.
Yeah, yeah. And then I tried to re-listen to it because I was like, I remember really liking this song, and I was like, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Frankly,
Mhm.
I think
I took
What-
off all the Imagine Dragons except for one song there because we
Same
grew
thing.
up in an era where Imagine Dragons like was so radio play that like everybody liked it and like vibed to it.
yeah.
So like I took a Radioactive off the list because
Mm.
I was like I can't justify Radioactive.
I have a
even though
couple on
people
here
hate
that
it.
I might need to veto. But anyway, I thought I had a couple like underground hits, but then other people stole them from me. I got a little annoyed.
There's a lot of country on this playlist.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do think that Richmond, north of Richmond, should be taken off the list.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like
I
I
agree.
understand.
I think it's too much of like there's too much like positive. What's the word I'm looking for? The emotion behind the song,
Yeah.
even though like a lot of the lyrics are misguided, is very like
It's
tangible and it like
It's legit.
You do feel a positive emotion
Yeah,
response
I agree.
from it. Yeah,
I think it should. There's.
So, should
I
take it
mean,
off the
my
list.
least favorite country song, which I'm not at liberty to say right now because it is a little bit. It's a sensitive subject at the current time, only because of the person who sings it is just recently passed away.
Oh.
But so I won't really dog on him.
Rest in peace.
But shout out Toby Keith. You know, it's
American Girls.
I don't like all of your songs. We'll put it that way. And then also, there's not enough Florida Georgia Line on here because I think that's
there's
the
only one
bane.
song on
That's
here.
the bane of my musical existence. I
Yeah.
looked it up and I was like, "Well, we have none on here. We need to get on that.
Yeah.
This is not okay."
I actually took Cruise off the list because I thought that Cruise is, but you put it back on.
Yeah.
So you recently put it back
I
on.
put back on.
Cruise to me is like if you put that on at a party, people will go off, right, and be psyched about it. And my generation,
we go into
yes.
different parties,
dude,
big guy.
like, we're
Let me
talking
be honest.
My school dances, they would play Cruise. Everybody would flip out, dude. All the
Okay.
country hicks out there, they would
Yeah.
go crazy for Cruise.
Yeah.
Man.
Doesn't mean it's good.
I'll be honest with you. I was wondering how far I'd have to scroll down to see something from the soundtrack for Suicide Squad. There it is.
There it
is. A
The-
sucker for pay.
The big thing though is like unless you're in this weird niche part of the internet in which you're fully cognizant of some of the worst songs of all time, I've showed a lot of my friends this playlist, not like played it for them, but like showed them it. They know maybe 2%
Yeah.
of the songs on here.
And
There's
that's
a
not to
lot.
say that you're any better than them.
It's just-
That is just means you have a different brain parasite
and
than they do.
it's also
Yeah.
just like for some reason I enjoyed like watching videos that just are like, look how terrible this is.
I know.
I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, it's a sickness more than anything.
It is.
But yeah, if you guys are interested in seeing the playlist, we could post it somewhere on the on the Patreon.
Yeah, maybe the
Speaking
Patreon because
of-
there's a lot on there that people shouldn't listen to. Like,
You're right.
We do
you
not
shouldn't
endorse-
be giving.
I'm not even
There
saying
are
this.
some people who on that playlist who make music on that playlist who are literally like terrible people objectively.
Like
Like Ben Shapiro.
he is on the playlist.
he is on the playlist. I will not make it anyway.
It's more so like they're not even like them being terrible people. Like the songs that they sing should be like above rated R.
Yeah.
Like are
Oh, for sure.
so atrociously offensive and terrible and all of this stuff combined that it's like this is not for the masses
no.
at all. There's
No.
a lot of songs on there. Especially
If-
I
if
think
you
the
were to-
first
if-
song.
It's true. That was just I put that on there first, so that was just because it was the first that came to mind. That being said, this is not the kind of thing that you would like sit down with your family and be like, "Hey,
No.
I found this funny playlist," and you would play
Let's
it.
do a drinking game or
No,
something.
no.
this
You
is with
need a trusted
select-
group of friends.
select group.
and
Also,
sit
we
down.
still haven't decided what the drinking game is.
Yeah, we got to make a call on that. While we're deliberating in
Yeah.
regards to that, I do want to say thank you to our patrons real fast. We cannot do the show without you guys. Thank our top patrons: Joe Papalardo, Zach and Amber Stralian, Sammy Roberts. Again, with this, we wouldn't be here. Silas would be dead in a ditch somewhere,
Probably.
be due to his crack cocaine addiction that he's been fighting for years. But
It would-
thankfully, we got the funds to put him through rehab through this show.
I was gonna say from withdrawals, but luckily the Patreon check going towards my crack cocaine, so I can survive another day.
It's
Thank
true,
you,
it's
thank you,
true.
Papalardo.
He'd be out here shooting up a convenience store for the money, but
Exactly.
instead you guys can pay for his crack
Thank
addiction.
you, thank
So,
you.
honestly, is there a better, more noble pursuit than that?
None.
If you guys are interested, we do a Patreon post show that's $5, and we got other
Oh, and
privileges.
there's a juicy conversation coming to the
Oh,
Patreon
yeah,
post
there
show.
is.
No,
There
I'm
is. Yeah, we can't talk about it at all on the podcast. So you got to see it on the Patreon. NSFW, I would say.
Yeah.
I would even go as far as to say.
Yeah.
But again, that's all behind the Patreon paywall. If you guys are interested, it's going to be Patreon.com/Monomaniacs pod. Monomaniacs pod.
There you go.
Or freaking check the link in the description. And if you can't pay money, and listen, a lot of you guys out there, you've got crack cocaine habits. I get it. You don't have the money for this. Freaking like and subscribe. That's all we need. That's all we want. get that freaking algorithmic juice flowing. That's all we need.
Good salesman.
Yeah.
Are there questions?
I'm a little surprised there's only one
Okay.
Machine Gun Kelly song on here. I'm not surprised at which song it is, which is Emo Girl,
Yeah.
which
a
is
classic.
a bad song.
Mhm.
I thought there'd be more.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though. I think that like thematically, you don't want to put too many of one artist's songs on
Yeah.
the playlist.
I think
like,
AJR is the most that we have. Like
true.
most by one
yeah,
artist.
yeah, most by number of songs. Like all of Corey Feldman's Angelic to the Core could go
Yes,
onto that
exactly,
list.
exactly.
Like every single song on that album could, but you only really need one to get the vibe
Mhm.
and then move on. Like
Yeah.
try something else. It's no use like dwelling on a particular artist.
Yeah. Also,
here.
like half of Eminem's back catalog, and there's a couple Lil Uzi Vert songs that just slip through and things like that. Lil Wayne, some of the like these are three of the most well-respected artists of all time, like rap artists of all time. They have absolute trash.
yeah,
You
yeah.
only put like one or two in there though,
Mhm.
because
Well,
you
first,
get the
yeah,
bangers.
that's such wide catalog. You don't want to. I will say there are 2 Lil Wayne rock songs though on there. Yeah,
he's not good at that.
So
Now, there is an artist who is notably missing, and I'd love to hear your
Probably
guys'
just
take.
slipped our mind. Okay.
If you had to choose a song from this artist,
which would it be?
which one is most legit, and which one would incite the most ire from this artist's fans? And that artist, of course, is Taylor Swift.
Yep. Okay.
T Swizzle. Well, so okay,
Missing here. I
we
think.
did have I did have a T Swizzle song on there, but then I thought, okay, enough people would like bop off to this. Pause. Enough people would freaking go crazy in the club for this
Yeah.
that I don't know if I want to include it.
Which
That's
one was
the
it?
issue.
It was "Shake It Off."
Okay.
was the song.
Which I think I disagree with.
Which
but
one would you
there's-
replace? Would it be Bad Blood? You know, we
We are
got
never-
Bad Blood.
Maybe like
We Are Never Getting Back Together, I think, would be mine.
True. That
Maybe.
could be it. That could be it. Those would be the
I
3
might
for me.
I might be brainwashed. I don't.
There are no bad songs?
I know there are bad songs. There are. My big thing is like there are offensively mediocre songs.
Then
I
that's a
don't-
completely different vibe. That's a
Exactly.
completely
I don't
different
know
thing.
if they're bad. I think like my take on Taylor Swift is like almost all of her albums are just offensively mediocre.
Mm.
And then I heard someone talking about it today, actually. Riley and Graydon from Hive Mind,
Yeah,
a different
yeah.
thing that Dylan and I are into right now.
Mhm.
But they were like, we'll put them in the same category as Drake in the sense that they make good, bad, good, whatever music. It doesn't matter what they put out.
Yeah.
They will go number 1 and they will be the best album of the year by a ton of people. It doesn't matter what it is.
Mhm.
Drake hasn't released a good album in like 15 years. And yet every single time they drop something, it's number 1.
Mhm.
Same thing with Taylor Swift.
And
Well, actually not really.
Drake
true.
and Drake takes a different approach to it, which is sheer quantity. Right?
Yes.
Like his albums are super long and are full of a ton of songs. But in addition to that, and people argue that that's because he likes to get streaming numbers up, which I get. I think
Yeah.
that's a reasonable reading on the situation. But all of these albums, like 90% of the songs, no one will ever hear. But that 10% people will hear for that entire year over
Exactly.
and over and over again.
Exactly.
You could not turn on the radio last year and not hear Antihero, which I thought was kind of a bop, I will say.
It's fine.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a bop.
Fine.
When it
I mean,
comes to
like-
pop, I thought it was pretty good.
What about 22? Or is
Feeling 22.
I don't know about you. I don't know.
Maybe.
See, and that's the thing. You could list any one of her
But it's
number
mediocre. It's
ones,
not
and
bad.
like there'd be annoying moments from
Yeah.
it, right? In my opinion, I don't know.
I think it's just mid. That's my take. It's just mid.
Just
It's not
mid.
bad. It's
All right.
mid.
Which maybe is a greater condemnation.
Yes.
It's almost
I
worse.
agree.
Yeah, I don't. That's the thing. I don't think there's a Taylor Swift
But
song. Well,
it's
there
not
probably is. I don't know her
for the-
catalog well
It's
enough.
not for the playlist though.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think there's a song that could go on the playlist that I've heard of Taylor Swift's.
Yeah.
So,
Like, Josh, if you click shuffle on this playlist, you would like physically
There's
like,
some-
convulse.
There's a lot of stuff on here that I haven't heard of, but the titles look terrible.
I like. Here's the thing.
I will say the one that is the worst for me.
Mhm.
Is it One Thought, Two Thought, Red Thought, Blue Thought?
No.
I kind of effed with that
People-
album though.
that was the biggest
I
like
kinda
gripe
did.
that I got the entire time I was showing people was like, how is Young,
Young
Gravy,
Gravy on
on
this
here?
list. Speaking of painfully mediocre,
Yeah.
he's just fine,
Yeah.
and he thinks that he's very clever, and I think he is partially clever, but like,
I think the
what's
bits
that
ran out,
line
but-
on Asians in that song?
I don't know.
You look up the freaking lyrics
To
to one thought, two thought, red thought, blue thought. Because like that album for a while, I was like, I think this might be like good, but this might be a good album.
I did this whole thing. So not this list, but there's a different list of, I think it was 64 of the worst albums of all time. Once again, we got this from Hive Mind. But I did this with my friends. We went on a road trip.
Mhm.
So we played every single song, and then we dwindled them down in a bracket style, just like they do in their video, to reach like a worst song ever. But the thing is it fostered a lot of community, and there are multiple songs that we quote to one another now all the time. Little Drummer Boy by Justin Bieber, one of my favorites. Rum pum 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 pum. Know I'm on the beat because the beat go dumb. By Justin Bieber is just a different vibe.
Exactly. Oh,
It's a
goodness.
great time. It's a great time.
And which I think the line in Red Thought, Blue Thought is, and I'm chilling with some Asians. It's just a ad lib in there.
It's effing with some Asians.
Oh.
Yeah.
There we go.
I don't
you
think
go.
we can read the lyrics to this song on
No,
this
no.
podcast.
It would be similar to Ben Shapiro reading WAP.
Although he says, I can tell your girl want it, but I ain't trying to tempt her. Need my money now like I'm JG Wentworth. That's a good line.
It's a decent.
I don't know about good, but it does work.
It does kind of rhyme.
It does rhyme, and it does have wordplay. So
I'm
as
gonna have
much
to
as you
listen
could
to
say.
this.
The bar is
I haven't heard
low.
this
Yeah,
before.
I do think his flow is pretty good, though.
I started, dude. Accidental Racist is crazy. Dude, we've been playing that in my stinking apartment now because it is insane.
That song. Oh,
Yes, dude. At
it
one
is
point,
perfect.
LL Cool J,
Sweet. Actually, I literally want to read the lyrics to "Accidental Racist"
dude.
for you.
LL Cool J has an ad lib at one point because who's the country guy in it? It's Brad Paisley. Like says something, and then LL Cool J goes, "R.I.P. Robert E. Lee," just into the mic as an ad lib to finish off the whole song.
Okay,
It's
so-
insane.
Here's the deal on accidental racism. Accidental racism is about how, guys, I wear the Confederate flag, but I don't mean it like as a racist thing. Like
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be racist, but like sometimes it just happens
I-
off of what my
yeah.
culture is.
But then he leans a little bit too much into
yeah,
the Southern
so it's
pride
to go
thing.
with it. And I love the specifics on this song because it reveals a disconnect of
Yeah.
him being like,
Like it
by
was-
trying not to be racist, he reveals
That he
stereotypes
is.
of the contrast
Yeah,
that imply adversarial situations.
exactly. It's like if you would have just been like made a statement, you're like, "Hey guys, sorry, I'm just this is just something that I do. This is part of my heritage." Yada yada yada. Like
Mhm.
that's questionable from my standpoint,
Yeah.
but that would have been like swept under the rug. Then he makes a song in which, go for it, Dylan.
Yeah, okay. To the man that waited on me at the Starbucks down on Main. See, there you go. That's specific. It's the Starbucks, right? It's like
Yep.
that counter
Mm-hmm.
cultural thing. I hope you understand. When I put on that t-shirt, the only thing I meant to say was that I'm a Skinner fan. Red flag on my chest somehow is like an elephant in the corner of the South. And I just walked him right in the room. Just a proud rebel son with an old can of worms, looking like I got a lot to learn. But from my point of view, I am just a white man coming to you from the Southland, trying to understand what it's like not to be. I'm proud of where I am from, but not everything we've
I love
done.
this chorus.
And it ain't like you and me can rewrite history. Our generation didn't start this nation. We're still picking up the pieces, walking on eggshells, fighting over yesterday, and caught between Southern pride and Southern blame.
It's just poetry.
It's poetry,
I mean,
really. Honestly,
LL Cool J's on this track is the craziest part. He hops off for rappers.
he does equate do-rags to the Confederate flag.
Also,
that
like,
does
if
happen.
you, also he says like, if you don't judge me for my gold chains, I'll forget about the iron chains. That's a line in the song.
They solved racism.
It's done.
It's done.
It's all gone.
Toast.
It's
Right.
all gone.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like not only is he like, here's what I love about the song is it's sincerity, right? Like
Yeah.
you do feel like he actually legitimately believes that
There's something there.
Yeah, like he is trying to apologize in the only way he knows how, and then it doesn't execute well. The fact that he actually reached out to and got LL
Yes,
Cool J
he
on the
got
song.
And he was like, "This is gonna make it better if I have a black man here to rap over this song." And it's like, also that just seems like you're pandering, but whatever.
But whatever. But like, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He did it because he was like, we need a black voice here to back me up.
It's like
that
when
I'm not trying to be racist.
Morgan Wallen took that photo with Drake, and then everyone was just like, "You know what? We know you got drunk and said the N-word, but Drake's cool with you, so it's fine now."
It's chill. Oh, dude, Morgan Wallen, love it. Goodness.
I snuck one song onto the end of this list. You guys can take it off if you want to.
How did you get access?
So I just opened Spotify here on Chad's computer.
Oh, at Chad's computer.
yeah. I have it pulled up right here. So I added the song "Finest Girl," the Bin Laden song from Popstar "Never Stop, Never Stop."
That is a bop, dude.
It is a.
It is unequivocally
It
good.
is a bop.
I don't
It is
know-
a bop,
I
but
don't
it
know
seems
what
like
it
it fits in
is.
the category of a lot of like trash songs that are on this list.
Satire does not belong on this playlist. Period.
Oh,
Done.
okay.
I agree.
All right.
There
I
were
agree.
songs.
It's gone.
There are songs.
I
that
will
none of these are
show it to
satire.
you on the break though, because
Okay.
Have you not heard that song?
No. Now I understand what it is.
you have to
Yeah.
you have to
looked
watch
at
the
it.
music video.
Yeah.
It's great.
Any dang way. Satire does not belong here because this is about sincerity and poor execution, right?
Yeah.
Because if we wanted to do satire, there's all sorts of people that like make bad music on purpose, right? Like the great example would be Kanye's song.
Yeah.
What's it called? The one that
Scoop-dee-dee
Scoop.
scoop.
Yeah, Scoopity.
Here's my question.
That's a bad song, but like it was done in jest as a joke.
This
right?
is the most niche. Well, not the most niche, but this is becoming a very niche episode of Monomaniacs. Is Ice JJ Fish sincere? Do we know?
Which one's Ice JJ Fish? I don't know.
There's something about you, girl.
Oh, that is. That makes me want to twirl.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think that's sincere. I
Okay,
think
it's
that's
not,
done
on,
in-
it's not on here. Never mind.
It's not on there. I took it off.
Yep.
It was suggested and I took it off.
I think a lot of people use it as like one of the worst things ever. I don't think it. I think it's too bad. I've tried on multiple occasions to sit through it before, and I couldn't. I think it's I think he's trying too hard to be bad.
Yeah. And I think there's an interim there. Funny story, actually. Today, I was at the doctor with my wife, and she got brought in for an appointment. And I was sitting in the waiting room, and I sat down, and on the TV was a movie. What I hate about this office, let me just clarify this. They have a TV on that is playing movies too loud every single time I'm in there. And it's usually like early 2000s comedies that is like a whole genre in of itself. And like, including like Ella Enchanted was on, which turns out sucks. Turns out it's really bad. It's paced terribly. But regardless, I sat down and there was literally, I don't know how this happened. I think they use YouTube TV. Literally a movie that from the first 2 frames I saw, I could tell by just how badly it was shot and lit that this was one of those vanity projects that somebody put together to make a movie about how awesome they are.
Yeah.
And literally within 5 seconds, there's a girl on there who's singing a song with a guitar that is the worst thing you've ever heard in your entire life, and it's played off as being beautiful and awesome.
Yeah.
And I was like, how in God's name is this playing in a place of business like a doctor's office for all to watch? I was the only person in that room. And I was like, I am about to be locked in here with this movie for the next 30 minutes. And I do not know how I'm going to survive. Right. It was like that bad.
Yeah.
And it was a full film. It was not
Gosh.
a TV show. It was locked in, ready to go. Thank God I got called in as quickly as I did. But I think it's interesting how quickly you can tell sometimes off of very little information how if something is going to be bad, right? Or, just off of the smallest little hints, like again, like the way the camera moved, the way that the lighting was done, you could tell that this was not going to be good.
Yeah.
And I think that the way that is structured can also give you an instinct on how sincere the project is, right? And to bring this back into the music stuff, you can tell when a song is structured in such a way that if it doesn't have, like, comedic songs or songs that are done out of jest,
Yeah.
tend to have a structure where there is punchline, right? Like
Mhm.
it builds to a moment in which it's kind of like is a laugh line or a laugh impact. Very rarely is it just bad all the way through without any like exhaust for, you know, the positive reaction.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't, like, I think there is a sincerity attached to it. And so I think for me, that is a way that I kind of judge whether or not something is satire
That's
or
fair.
not, is whether or not you feel as though it is trying to elicit a reaction of like either laughter or contemplation that is against what the themes of the actual project are.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree. I just like how last time I came on here it was just Grimes. And now it's just all bad music. The
Yeah.
opposite of Grimes. frankly.
Exactly. Grimes being a voice of our generation,
Yes.
lighting the way.
Lighting the way.
Being a lighthouse.
If
to
there was
us,
ever a
guiding light.
Grimes song on that playlist, I would throw a fit.
You get mad.
Yeah. I bet you could find one or two.
Guarantee it.
We'll see.
Guarantee you
We'll
could.
see. I'll veto it.
Well, I think we're running out of time, right? We're going to move this conversation over onto the Patreon. If you guys are interested in doing that, freaking head on to, again,
You got it.
Patreon.com/Monomaniacs pod.
You've messed that up so many times.
I know, dude. And look, we're almost to 100 episodes, and I'd be happy to know that there was one where I actually said that right.
Yeah.
So head on over into there as well. If you guys are interested in seeing the playlist, we'll post it on the Patreon. You can only get that on the Patreon.
Yes.
You ain't getting access to that any other way.
100%.
Unless you're, of course, break into this office and get on Shad's computer like Josh
Yeah, like
has
Josh.
and access it and change it that way. So any dang way. Y'all have a good one. Anything you got to tell the people before you head out?
Not really. Listen to Grimes. Don't listen to I don't know, Hobson or New Eminem. That's about it.
Wiser words are never.
Second.
Peace.